Good day. It's Wandering Wednesday again. Yay! This is going to be good today. There's a lot of stuff I've been thinking about. Playing with shadows. Shadows. I was looking at good day, family. Much love to you and yours. Thank you for being with me. It's Wandering Wednesdays again. Yes. We're going to be talking about playing with shadows and essence. How awesome our Creator is and our ancestors are. That we're so embedded into everything. And it takes knowing that to be able to even really tap in on a different level to the all. You know, this is going to be good. Okay, so I was looking at the art of lying. And I was searching for some past notes because part of my thing, right, is communication, psychology, body language, symbolism, and dance, you know. And I love fractals. So it's perfect because, you know, that's how we break things down, right? I'm mindful of how one thing kind of morphs into many other things. And we're talking about playing with shadows. So there is a lot of stuff in between light and dark, and between the truth and a lie. A lot of stuff can happen. It can morph into many things and take many different shapes. And I had to remember when I was looking at truth for myself, that as much light as I display, there's a darkness. You know, when I was looking at us in the consciousness community or the truth community or just being mindful or aware, right? I was seeing years ago, it's like 6 years ago, we didn't want to admit that there was any dark stuff. Everybody wanted to be the marketable new age awareness kind of thing, consciousness where you were all love and light and rainbows and butterflies and stuff, you know. And we could talk about all the darkness and stuff that happened around the world, but none of it was happening in us. It didn't apply to us. Like, you know, you totally denied that stuff was applying to you at all. And then for those of us doing shadow work, realizing, for me it happened like this, right? I was working so hard on focusing on the light, but being smacked in the face by the truth of universal laws of correspondence and groupthink, and, you know, all these different things were popping up. So I'm like, well, what's going on? If I'm the foundation of a lot of this thought, why is it not breaking? And so there was a shadow, a place in my mind that I couldn't see. I wanted to only see the shadows. Some of us only want to see the shadow self, and we don't want to see our light, because that's the part that will make us accountable for ourselves and empower us. And we don't like that scale. We're brought up very much to pay attention to our brokenness Okay? Even the media always showing you the brokenness. Ooh, look what they did wrong. Ooh, how dark and horrible that is. And even the little black and white movie I used to watch when I was a child, It's a Wonderful Life, is coming from a place of, I kind of liked that movie because it was coming from a place of not appreciating it, and it showed the, the parallel dimensions, the what if. Got to appreciate itself and stuff like that. And so liking that movie as a child and picking that as a part of my programming unconsciously to look at life in a way of appreciation from what if, there was always somebody worse. There was always another, a worse circumstance. And we could always look for a better day, right? It's gonna be all right. But none of that had to do with my own empowerment. I mean, what does that mean in our culture? And what does that mean for a woman, period, let alone a woman in our culture on a deep level? So what I'm getting at is playing with shadows. We're using fractals, right? And metaphors. And I'm getting somewhere. Okay? And it will show its head. When observing self, being a person that's observant, being mindful of other people, and how I fit into that and the fractality of it all. Communication. I studied communications, trying to figure out a way to talk to you, to talk to myself, realizing that you were me and that we were a big freaking mess. But we're not just a mess. We're taught to focus in on just a mess. And it shouldn't be so. That's part of the technology and the fractality in a way that's not mutually beneficial for us. It's mutually beneficial for vampires. Okay? But it's not mutually beneficial for those people who want to cultivate atmospheres that are holistic and that are user-friendly for more than just themselves. Meaning more than just their type of self. Those who have a wider range, right? A wider range of objectivity. And the only way I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, if I messed up and I'm looking for a corresponding frequency and they're messed up and I keep running into messed up, then maybe it's just saying that I'm messed up, that I should just forget about it. But no, because there's also a pole, right? I was trying to figure out, what am I doing wrong, so that I can find the corresponding frequency that I want to be on. But how can you find it if you don't know it, right? In order to find a balance, if I want to respect you, I have to know what it is first, right? And just like intelligence is defined by culture, right? By geology, by time even. What was intelligence 50 years ago is not the same level of intelligence now. We've upgraded, even technology, yada yada, right? So we're in a whole nother mindset. How can I find myself? So I can find what I really want. If I can't even see it, because what I'm looking at is being corrupted and polluted. That was my conundrum. That was the shadow. How can I even see that? How can I even begin to explain it? That was the first thing that we realized that we had to do. Those of us who were paying attention to the shadow at all, that would even admit it was there, was the first thing that we had to admit that it was there. Good day, love. And the second thing is, if you're not on the same page as me, well then we can't talk about the book if we haven't both read it. We have to be on the same page. We have to at least be in the same book, right? In the same topic. So we can, okay, we're not in the same book, but are we at least in the same topic? What does truth actually really look like? What does it really look like? So I started to look at myself in the mirror and my eyes like really deep. And I was searching. So like, you know, when I look in somebody's eyes, am I seeing the truth? Are they telling me the truth? Because many times people aren't telling you the truth. Part of the reason why we have to educate each other is because sometimes we don't realize we're not telling the truth because we've been indoctrinated to the lie. Okay? And this is where we start talking about the pole between the lie and the truth in our environment, right? With fractality and playing with shadows. Playing with ourselves, playing with shadows. Let me tell you a little story. I love little stories. So today I was riding in the car with a friend. And I had my balls with me. Now I need these balls because, you know, like I'm a fidgeter. I like to fidget. And I got a lot of energy and stuff, so I got to focus it. Otherwise, I don't know what I would look like if I didn't have things to fidget with at certain times, you know? Or something to eat. I need to do something. So, anyway, the topic of my balls popped up. And of course it's funny. It's a funny metaphor. And it reminded me of something that they said. In society, the cutoff age for it not being appropriate to be feeling yourself or be an adolescent is 13. 12, 13 is the cutoff date for showing your butt with no excuses. Just being yourself, right? Out there learning, la 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 la, you know, just feeling it out, catching your balance and being yourself. Cutoff age is 12, 13. 12, 13. And then, according to society, you're supposed to stop showing your butt because somebody else's kahunas are bigger than yours. You have to fall into alignment with society and what society feels like is appropriate. And that's when, you know, you should have all your ducks in a row kind of stuff. They want you to be picking careers and all this other kind of stuff falls in your childhood, just freaking poof, it disappears, right? And so we're adults in a world where we haven't been taught to cultivate our kahunas, especially as a woman. You have no kahunas, but I knew I had some. I used to always joke I had space balls, stuff that I was, excuse me for the interruption, a mysterious call, mysterious caller. I didn't answer because we're, you know, that would be like totally inappropriate right now because we're talking about these balls. It's like, you know, we don't want to answer the phone right now because this is juicy. Okay, so I saw that movie Spaceballs when I was young, and I always had it in my mind that I had these really big, huge kahunas. I could see them in the sky. They were humongous, but it was not appropriate for ladies to talk about balls. But they said even the queen talks about balls, right? Which leads me to drop away this story, stated in the background. We're in a male-dominated society, okay? We got phalluses everywhere. Men are taught to cultivate their balls. That's what being a dude is all about, you know? They even talk about it in the military. I don't know, it always cracks me up. Runs the balls. Okay. Why it's cracking me up now is that it's so off balance and so overcompensating. When people go around only talking about and cultivating that part of themselves and not having any balance. And in our society, it's an illusion, it's a lie that things should be so male dominated. That's an illusion, that's a lie. It's cultivated into our society so that people can be vampiric. Vampires are protruding. They want to, they want to suck. They pull away, whereas the female energy, excuse me, my imagination is very large. The female energy is more nurturing, but at this point in our culture, she too has become vampiric and is a sucking, but that's because we're not taught to have the proper balances within our cultures, okay? The balance is such so that it's pulling economy and energy and rhythm and prestige and credibility into one segment, okay, of our culture, just like the male energy is like dominant. That would be like somebody having an engorged testicle. That doesn't sound very good to me, and I heard that hurts. You don't want that to happen. That's totally off balance, right? Look at our society like that, okay? And so we want to, I know it's embarrassing. We don't want to talk about it, this domestic issue that we have. But I must use the metaphor of us, our male and female imbalances and insecurities that I also deal with, that I be observing us going through. Which leads me to mind-wide reservation, okay? The difference between mind reservation or mind-wide reservation and mindful communication. Look those up. Mindful communication and mind reservation. This is the pole between the lie and the truth, okay? And we're in the shadow, oblivious, right? To a lot of stuff that's going on, either because we don't want to see, we're embarrassed, we're not, it's just not in our agenda. We're not steered in that direction, okay? We're steered in another direction toward technology. You know that saying, fool me once, fool me twice, right? But I started thinking about the accountability on our part. And I said, if you steer a culture into thinking that, or a people's, or a gender, anything, into believing that it can only be a certain way, right? It can only have one dimension. And then you invite other people to support that, like the Luciferian agenda that uses mind-wide reservation. If you cultivate a whole culture and society that's gonna purposely lie and build platforms to make themselves look in a particular light in order to enforce technology, to actually fool people on purpose, to corrupt people so that they can't get up and shine, so that they can't see their accountability, so that they can't see that they even have any accountability. That's the problem. I was looking at myself and I'm like, as a woman, check out the fractal. I ain't saying, as a woman, how can I, when everything says that I'm supposed to be submissive to the more dominant culture? All the literature says that they're the dominant culture. I mean, nothing that I saw is saying that we're evil, even. Nothing. You really got to hunt for that stuff. It's not like right in your face. Even universal law has an aspect of it where the female aspect is and submissive or in alignment with the male aspect. Like they have to work together. They have to work together. So you just can't, like, when it came to looking at myself in the eyeballs and looking at my issues with incest, with rape, with being exploited, with being brought up where everything in our system is breeding us this way. What do you want me to do about it? That's just the way it is, right? It's just the way it is. So when they told me shut up when I was a little girl, when they told me don't think, when they told me don't ask questions, you're not acting according to your gender. Forget about your color. I wasn't being gender appropriate. My personality, my questioning, my protruding nature. I had too much kahunas. I still do. I meditate with them. This is the male side of myself. I embrace it. Embrace it. Right? As I want my brothers to embrace their female side, the creative side, the side that's a whirlwind, that invites in. It's not afraid to invite in the femme. What? That wild stuff that is the creative energy, force field, that can knock stuff down and build it up. But only if it has to. Only when it's appropriate. You ever see, you know, and only when it's taken too much and mama has to regroup, you know what I'm saying? When life has to regroup and it's time to, we don't have a right balance is what I'm saying. We weren't taught to cultivate the proper balances within ourselves. And so I'm grateful in this lifetime to be able to explore that, to have the time to reflect, to be in the middle of a lot of crap in a dark room, that if I really wanted to see myself, I had to not allow myself the privilege that they were telling me that I had. The privilege to be their depiction of a womb space. I don't know why deaf, dumb, and blind came to my head. Barefoot and pregnant. Just, you know, not capable of, you know, of doing many things, but there's a lot of things that we are capable of. We're supposed to be working together, but it's being exploited. And in the same way, other energies are being exploited. So we have the female who is also the daughter, who is the wife, who is the mother. All three being corrupted on this plane so that something can suck, something vampiric. Something likes that womb space creative energy so much that it led me to thinking about our shadow government very much, right? Where do we get some of this stuff from that we're cultivated with? I was brought up Episcopalian. That was like we were told, like a step down from Catholic. We stood up, we knelt. We stood up, we knelt. We had incense. We had the whole thing going. And I noticed still, you know, asking questions is not cool. They got it separated. Secret societies where you can ask your questions if you pay your fees. If you know the right me's, right? So I was thinking about the Vatican, and I was thinking about astrology and Santos Bonacci, and he was talking about the paper cabals, and I, you know, because I'm studying the sound wave and the way this stuff, like, you know, we are a mini model, a representation of, you know, we're a fractal of the actual Earth. It's fascinating. Talk talk about like envision one of those holographic little machines, you know, where like I can even get to different parts of my body by accessing pressure points in between my fingers. Okay, I can access places that I've been around the world by doing tapping or meditating or looking at a map, and it invokes a picture, a memory, kind of like putting a pressure point. It's accessing, it's protruding, there's fractals, you know, and in this thought I can also project that same thought with those two fractals in mind and think of outer space, which is also inner space, getting a more rounder picture, right, of who I am as an individual. Check out the 7 African powers. A must read, okay? So the paper cabals, taking into consideration the straw man, okay? We're talking about shadows. We're talking about things like we put our hands, we put ourselves, we put our trust, right? Our naiveness, our femininity, our soft spots, right? Our vulnerabilities, our tender spots, our places where people are telling us about how our gender should act, how we should be sexually, how should we live our lives. That's some tender stuff. Mama and papa stuff, that's parenting. It's okay. So, and we're going to the church for that. We're going to the government for that. We're going to the law for that. And it's depicting, it says, a higher reference, right? Where to get this higher reference from? And so that's why, while talking about shadows, shadow government, paper cabals, straw man, and what about the Constitution where you're only 3/4 human? So there had to be an amendment to the Constitution in order to assure that we're taking into consideration melanated folks. Why did I bring that up? Because it's in a direct alignment to looking at the technology. Not for the sake of really bringing energy to what's been done to melanated people, or particularly what's been done to women. But to shed light on what's been done and why. Because something is eating. Get rid of, you have a right to. And look at what's being done. Beyond the fire and the smoke, something is eating chicken. Something is eating little sheeples, lambs and stuff, lamb chops. Something is eating the sheeple that was in the steeple. And we're fractals in the same way that energy that I was pointing out, us. And the male and female energy, red shift, blue shift, the sound wave, the earth, and the way that we're a fractal of this energy, and the way that we break down. If you look up the 7 African powers, I'm live. Good day. We're looking at the Luciferian agenda. Got me to looking at feminism. Got me to looking beyond the smoke and the flames. Check out the smoke and mirrors of the feminism movement and what's behind that and the history. I am not going into at the moment. Not really. What I am pointing out is that when people want to help you, you know it. They help you. They're happy to help you. They're helping people. It's a part of their nature. When people don't want to help you, you know they don't really want to help you. There's something there. There's an energetic freaking static there that you just, something is off. And I found myself on occasion recently wondering, is it me? Or do they really want to help me? Is it me? Or do they really want to help me? Is it me? And then, in the same instance, in the same building at college, trying to get some stuff taken care of and sign things up, I didn't have to wonder with certain people. You knew they were there to help you, that they wanted to help you, they were happy to help you. They had the frequency of freaking help. Da-da-da! I love to help. I am the helper. I am a helping man. And that was great. And it's because of that person that didn't have something up their sleeve, underneath their skin, bubbling up, like the Luciferian agenda. Like wide mind reservation. Like mind reservation, which is the art of lying. The art of lying, when telling the truth, is going to mess with your agenda. It's going to endanger your people and what you have planned, and that is embedded. As a matter of fact, the art of war is embedded into the Luciferian agenda. Okay? Now, this is where it gets funny. Feminism. You really want me to be extra sensitive about what you're going through as a woman? If this doesn't apply to you, my beloveds, don't even sweat what I'm about to say. I'm talking to a particular type of person. You want me to be sensitive toward you, your children, your financial situation, the things that you would like to see in community. But when my mother and my mother's mother trusted you with the female agenda prior to, we have a serious issue, because I don't see any of those things that you said we were going to have in our community for women, for our suffering, for our independence, for our growth. I don't see it. I don't see it for us. I don't see the value of melanated women and the same plateau as you. I don't see it. I feel like by signing on to the feminist movement, that somehow I lost value as a woman, to your value as a woman. But we were supposed to be fighting for the same thing. I found myself not only fighting men, but fighting white women and men, and then having my own man mad at me because he felt like women were above him. And then when you go and you look for support systems as a woman, this whole thing is messed up. There's too many distorted fractals to pay attention to all at once. But as women, we just wanted our rights as women, because women are actually the biggest slaves on the planet. But we got sold out. We got sold out. And I'm not even gonna be able to tell you how that hurts when we see our children go to school and we go to look for opportunities and we see how distorted this all is. Somehow, in the last 30, 40 years, I got to see your families look so beautiful and pristine all over the media and the streets, being able to enjoy little side things like, and I got to see my own people suffer more, where they were struggling more, and I don't know how that happened. Our families were more separated, not more together, and I don't think that that's what I wanted. I don't think that that's what my grandmother and my great-grandmother wanted when we were looking at the feminist movement. I think we were looking at family. Every woman wants family. Most women want family. Even gay women want family. Otherwise, why would they be fighting? Why would anybody be fighting for gay marriage? Family is important. And so why are these institutions cultivated? Like the meaning to me, like when I see so many people struggling just to pay their rent and put food in their mouths, and the balance of male and female energy is off. Shouldn't that be the priority of women? Is balancing out the male and female energy and bringing it together? So how did that help? If I'm confused, please tell me. If you're confused, I just told you. And you know, that's what talk therapy is all about. Being mindful. Mindful communication. Letting you know what's really in my heart. That as a whole, what I'm seeing in the community as more sabotage, just like Jesus being depicted as white, and the be-all end-all of looking at yourself as a higher being, that is the only thing that we could possibly look at for hope. Meanwhile, when you look around, people with those kinds of dispositions weren't really giving any hope, and they were full of lies and deceit. But don't you say it. Don't you say it. Keep your mouth shut. And so that's why, beyond the smoke and the mirrors and the fire, I could see the technology. I could see how this was like a domestic issue, right? The government is parenting us. I was looking at us women from a perspective of incest survivor, rape survivor, victim. But wait a minute. We're being taught disempowerment. These same women. All right. I go on Google and I look for, I started noticing this 5 years ago. Look for images of triple black goddess, Egyptian queens and stuff like that. What do you see? Same issue. Now, this is not a black and white thing. In the same way that this wasn't just a woman thing. I'm showing you a lie. I'm showing you technology. I'm showing you how they use all of us to suit themselves. This Luciferian, male, very male agenda. Okay? And a particular kind of male at that. A male that wants to be both male and female. And the way that it's said that we once were to begin with in the first place. We were once androgynous with complete parts. And we fractalized and fractalized some more. It kind of reminds me when I was in anthropology and we were talking about one of the theologies of how things first started was that, oh, he's a cute little pig. Aww. I want to show them so bad. They're so cute. Mama and the son. They're so cute. That's love right there. She's tired. I could feel the work on her. She bring her little sweet pea to dance class. She said, I told you and I talked to you. But that's love. We need a better balance of male and female energy and to really nurture each other and stuff like that. It was said that in the beginning, said it was one chicken, and over time that chicken fractalized and became, you know, a pink flamingo and a dove and a seagull and a pigeon and a hawk, okay, and a crow. Good day, love. And it's, you know, in the same way, kind of like of everything's frequency and vibration, and it gets distorted over time, right? Things are off. It's like the game where you tell somebody something and then they tell them something. What is that? The telephone game. And then by the time you get to the end of the line, good day, love. By the time you get to the end of the line, the story has totally changed. Okay? Someone is able to profit off of that. Okay? And it's not mutually beneficial. And the same way that our knowledge is a breakdown from Egypt, and you know what I'm saying, they're breaking it down, and we're starting to get more and more information now, and we're finding out that there's civilizations built on top of civilizations. Even the Sphinx has like 3 layers that we weren't aware of before. I think that's so fascinating. And how can they see that now? With scalar wave technology, by looking at ultrasound into the dirt. Hi, sweet pea. Our first civilization, us women are taught to be in a position of docile, to not empower ourselves. But in the same token, we're not taught. Part of the technology is that we're not taught. You drop your pencil, sweet pea. You're welcome. We're not taught about how our civilization used to be a monarch and started out in Kemet. What? A lot of the information didn't start there. It was a corruption. We first started fighting as male and female first. Yeah, we started fighting with our other half, with our shadow self. I was thinking about, you know, the 6 signs, morphing into 12 signs, and that telephone line thing, how stuff gets jacked up in the mix. Mixed up in the wind. A further splitting of self, right? We had an internal war. We had an internal war. When I look in my eyes, how can I tell the truth? How can you find the truth in a world where everybody's lying? And how are you going to blame me for the lie when this mess was here before I got here? My grandma fell for that mess. My grandpa fell for that mess. They went to the church. They signed on for that. They're the ones who didn't see that. And then again, it's not our fault anyway, because there's a whole system here, you see, that's corrupting all of this. And so when you start talking about accountability and stuff, what are you talking about? Don't you see that I got dropped off in the middle of a war zone with just my butt in the wind? G-O-D, what are you talking about, dog? Really, though? In God we trust. Just weird riddles, you know what I'm saying? I was at the school the other day trying to solve a money problem. So I go to solve a money problem and they tell me that I needed money to solve the money problem. Listen, I'm trying to get out of this situation, and to get out of this situation, I need money. So I got a money problem. Well, go over here and see if you can solve your money problem, right? Get that education, get that J-O-B or whatever, you know, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so if I go over here, I could solve the money problem. Yes. Okay, so I got a money problem. I'm going to go over here and get the skills so I can solve the money problem. I go over there to get the skills to solve the money problem, and they told me I can't get the skills until I give them money. I said, well, I can't get the skills from you because I don't have any money. And the reason why I don't have any money is because you guys messed up the books with my money on it, and now you can't even open the books and look at how you messed up my money problem until I show you the money. That makes no freaking sense to me at all. So you made an accounting issue, and because I didn't pay you, you can't even open the books to show me the accounting issue so that I can get that taken off the account for when I take care of the account. It's just shut down. And I find that a lot of stuff is like that. A lot of stuff is like that. Just retarded, the way that we're doing things. It's like backwards, and it doesn't make any sense to me at all. We first started fighting with ourselves. I'm fighting with myself. These are the same people that say there's no quality people in society. Look at those useless eaters. Yo, they useless eating because they got a money problem. They're trying to get put on, but you won't put them on. No, you won't put them on because you're programmed to hold your position. You're programmed for the Luciferian agenda. You're programmed. You don't even know what you're doing. Do you know that by selling me short, because I'm not, by holding your position, when I found out that the Luciferian position takes monies from widows, that they make it their pact to make sure that there's no money that other women are passing on to other women. So that when I was looking at how to get out of my situation as a woman, and I saw how limited that we are in resources, that a man can leave jail, they're throwing him in there way too fast. But I noticed that he can leave jail and he can get into a halfway house, that other men are quicker to help other men, and that society is quicker to help other men than they will to mess with a woman. It's geared to want us to be on our back and to look for that man. It's geared for the man to be able to lift that woman up, or to be able to give her crumbs, whatever he can. Because by signing on to the feminine movement, I don't see how kicking black men out of their homes because a lack of finances, right? You can even read Regulating the Poor. I went through this material when I was studying human services. It's right there. It's part of our history. Okay, about how bigotry, the embedding of our own hearts and minds, is embedded within the decision making of our culture. And that's why I was talking about laws. You know, laws. Like we had to get an amendment to the 3/4 to the Constitution. Okay. So I was just, thinking about that. Like, wow. How much missing material and missing information is there, so that we only pay attention to, select choices. They tell you it's a choice, but it's not a choice. It's a demand. It's a sleight of hand. It's smoke and mirrors. We sold ourselves out. Females as a freaking spirit. Females as a womb space. Females as healers. Sold ourselves out. Females that compete with other females. Females that look for love and then go and mess with somebody else's situation. But you want respect and you want love. Things that I had to look at myself and see as a woman. When I wanted a corresponding frequency, what was I really looking for when I looked in my eyes? What did my sisters see? What do my daughters see? What are we seeing? What do I want you to see? What kind of respect do I want from myself, from my womb? We are equal partners. We were one. I was looking in the same way in my mind's eye, all itself, with Jah, what our Creator is showing me, right? You know, it's like, it's spirits. Red shift, blue shift. Male, female, male, female. Our minds are fractalized. The way that we're looking at stuff is compartmentalized in a way that is not mutually beneficial. It keeps us steered in one direction, like we're stuck on a groove. We're stuck. Remember the groove thing where you just get stuck like a skipping record? Some of us can't get over certain things. The fire and the smoke is all we see. We making rap songs to it. Shoot that nigga. Disrespect that hoe. I hate that white man. All day long. Run it through your mind. You must be in love. All day. We have no empowerment. Men are just so... Nah, there's some beautiful men. Some beautiful freaking souls. Find a corresponding frequency. Women is so... Nah, there's some beautiful women out there. Find a corresponding frequency. What are you looking for? What are you looking for? Are you going to your sister? Or are you trying to find a hoe? Are you trying to disrespect some space? What are you cultivating and why? Our minds are so freaking beautiful. There is plenty of places to explore and get together and things to do. People to see in your mind's eyes. Just things to explore. And nope, they got us right here in section. They got us in this little tiny section. You are only allowed to explore this. And it's your own damn fault. Why? Because that's all you want to see. If you can't see past the smoke and mirrors, just because I can't see past the smoke and mirrors, if your ass burns, it's your own damn fault. Man up! Get some kahunas, whether you're a male or a female. It's time to party. We are beautiful souls and spirits. Show up, show out, no matter who you are. It's the opportunity for me to stand up and be like, hey, I'm not your interpretation of me. I'm not who you wanted me to be. I'm what I make of the situation. And you can throw like double dutch. You ever watch the girls do the double dutch? Man, how many different types of steps and stuff can you throw in there? Those ropes are there. And once you step in, it's all over with. Once you pop out that womb, whether your balls are up there or down here, it's on, baby. You're born in a war zone. Okay? It's a spiritual war. It's a spiritual war. And so just be careful where they put your twigs at. Even if you're a fag. And, you know, sticks, fags, cigarettes. Watch how they burn. Watch how you burn your light. Watch how we let them burn our light, okay? They used to say that I burned my candle on both ends and that you can't hide a light under the bushel. And I had no idea what they were talking about when I was younger. I had no idea. I thought they were picking on me. I didn't want to accept my accountability. They could see my light. You cannot hide a light under a bushel. You can't hide us. Okay? No matter what kind of crap that you're buried under, start out fresh. Yep. You fell for this thing or that thing. You thought you were better, or you know what I'm saying? Or you thought you were worse, for better or worse. You thought because your skin was this, or your skin wasn't that, or you had these down here or up there. Start over. Start over. Because all you are is a fractal of myself, like it or not. What you do does affect me. If Tom, Dick, and Harry goes down the street and he shoots 13 freaking people, or more, or less, or whatever, I'm going to feel that. And a matter of fact, talk about energetic potential, right? When 9/11 happened and those buildings came down, that was felt worldwide. That is a perfect example of how consciousness is measured and how we're connected to one another, and how many different agendas that one particular thing made ripples on. Whether it's we all need to get together, or maybe we should take a look at the system again, or something is not quite right. On many different levels, things were looked at. And how our hearts just fell out that day. And how there was nothing we could do about it, and we felt helpless. So very freaking helpless. And it didn't matter what freaking color you were or what sex you were. That freaking impacted you. Dirty water impacts you. And then the price of water will impact you if dirty water gets dirtier and there's a situation, bada bing, bada boom. There's been situations. Okay? Bad air quality affects you. Okay? Cell phone towers affect you. I'm going to have to end this soon. There's things that we don't see that affect us as a shadow. Okay? Let me see if I can make it inside and plug up my phone before it dies. Okay, so alright, got me thinking, right? Sleight of hand. Woo! Check this out. We see the fire and the smoke so much that we don't see what's being taken from us by paying attention to the fire and the smoke. That's another element, and that's the element that's being eaten up. That's the vampiric part, right? Like 6 signs being 12 signs, but there's really 13, and that 13th one helps regulate the other ones, right? It's got a power and an energy, like where to go, right? If the Luciferian and this eyeball thing, right, he sees, do you know that that 13th sign, the symbol is a U with a slash going through it? And so I was looking at the percentages and stuff like that, just stuff that's not in our consciousness that we don't see, because we're paying attention to other stuff, right? So now I can talk about our sister, beloved Sophia Stewart. Now, I noticed we're talking so much about, now it's beautiful what's happened. It shows you our ancestors and the power of the spirits and stuff, all that stuff that I talked about. 7 African powers, and you know, the third eye, and our talents, our abilities, creative energy in the life force, all that stuff, right? The awakening. She's had to spend so much time talking about how she had to defend her book and the rights to her book and her creative rights. That say you do a 2-3 hour show talking about how these people stole your work, and explaining how they did it, not you're the author and all this stuff, right? Explaining the Terminator and the Matrix books and all that stuff, so that you can put everybody on the same page. 2, 3, 4 hour show, right? Imagine what could have been talked about, just the science. So while we're excited that she's won this case and this money and yada, 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 woo, one for us, woohoo. What we're missing is so much more powerful. And that is our ancestors is blessing us in real life, not in no comic book. It's not just a movie. That is the message that our sister is bringing. That is the message that some of us are bringing that have been stifled. You see, smoke and mirrors. Look past the smoke. Everybody's so excited. What's beyond that? Do you realize the science here? The potential of the tools and just, oh my gosh. Reading the Third Eye book right now, slowly. And I read the Matrix 4 book that she did. I've seen, that was my favorite. Just like you used to watch MacGyver and vampire movies and all this other stuff. Certain programs, certain things inside of you just kind of speak. You know what I'm saying? Like some people like one particular kind of thing that they're geared to. And that's the essence. You know what I'm saying? Protect your essence. So we're hearing a lot about how she won her case and how she defended herself. And so we see the power of the ancestors protecting. We see the creative ability and potential when we look at these movies and how it made an impact on our culture, on society. Perfect example. And how the men have held that light up and shined it. And it bounced off of a female energy. It came from her womb space. And some males who happened to be a part of that agenda tried to snuff her light out. And then, now that she's won and all that kind of stuff, right? Now this is us. All is self. We are fractals. But what about the science, though? I got questions, especially pertaining to awakening and the messages that the ancestors are giving. Like, we need to talk more. There's advanced sciences that we are spending so much time defending the fact, defending our right to even contemplate certain things. As a woman, as a man, as a black woman, as a man, as somebody with no money, as somebody with money. We're spending so much time counteracting these boxes that we've been put in. We gotta we're boxing. Just for a right, we're fighting just for a right to our opinion. Just to be. Just to show up. Show up genuine. I love being able to do that now. I'm like looking, ooh. Yeah, I see you. I see you. It's been a long journey and a lot of freaking work. And we have a long way to go. We're better. And we're willing to go the rest of the way. Being who we are. Being on the same page. Okay, so, yeah, watch out for the smoke and mirrors and the shadows. They got a lot of shadows. They got a lot of sleight of hand. And check out again Wide Mind Reservation or Mind Reservation. That's the art of lying. And also mindful communication, and that would be the opposite. How to meet ourselves in a place where we can tell the truth. And so I have to acknowledge my dark in order to really see my light. Or I'm just saying I'm light and I'm not. I'm full of, okay? And that's just the essence of it. This whole culture and society has been built on lies. And it's really off balance, And really weird to see men in dresses kiss the triple black Madonna's punani. When I look at the Vatican and some of the rituals and stuff that they do, there's a meteorite stone. You know, when I look at all the it's just sad to see people want to be you, but they're so jealous and so not able to really see themselves that they can't admit that they want to be you. Okay, let me see if I can call in. Okay. Good day. Good day. Much love
Good
to you,
day.
Adonis.
Much
How
love.
are you?
Pretty good.
Did you have something you wanted to add?
No, no.
Okay, Adonis. I think I
Well,
did have somebody who had a question. I'm going to let them, okay? And much
well,
love
what
to
I
you.
wanted to what I wanted to say, we have to look inside and see everybody from the inside, from God's eyes. This way, you can't be deceived and misled.
Right.
No deception whatsoever. Because when you have deception of yourself, you have deception of others. See,
Bingo.
the eyes can only see when the mind is not blind. But when the mind is blind, the eyes don't see. Now let the other person in. I'm out.
All right. Thank you. That was perfect. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, we're in the habit of fooling ourselves and having to cater to egos and not able to allow ourselves to make mistakes. We can mend. And that's what I was saying about you know, um, our institutions having people who are supposed to be mentors, but they're not allowed to have anything wrong with them. And that's not the way that this works. We're ever growing, ever changing, always in flux to get better. It's not something that just stops. A PhD is a lie.
Mm.
Good day, brother. Much love to you.
Peace and blessings, Goddess. I just want to tell you I love you and I appreciate everything you're doing. I really, really do. I love the essence and divine place that you're coming from, and I love you for it. That's all I gotta say. It ain't a lot. That's it.
Thank you, beloved. Much love to you. I'm grateful for that.
Peace and blessings.
I like to see us sharing the love. Thank you so much. There's many a days that I would share love with people, and I felt like I had to like really watch it if I didn't get it reciprocated, just to, it would help me to figure out why I did it. You know what I'm saying? Did I just do it to share, or was I looking for a particular thing back in return? And then finding out like you want a return, like you don't want to put your a place where there's no, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna go nowhere and not be appreciated. So it was learning a balance and stuff that I'm still learning, and it can be scary. And so I'm grateful when I see the Creator giving people back to me that are appreciative for what I'm doing. Like I appreciate you. So much love to you, family. Thank you. It helps me keep going. Good day, sis. I was trying to add you. Okay, I think that I've tried to add everyone that I could. And Javette, you're not coming on. I've tried to add you. Okay, family. This was Wandering Wednesdays. And I'm really grateful that we didn't have any cutoffs on the internet and I got through it. Much love to you and yours. All is self. It really, really is. You know, when I stop deceiving myself, I'm not so easily deceived. Much love to you and your light, and we have value. Now I am accountable. I have balance. I'm out.